Tired of interesting plot lines? Great! Let's get predictable. When it comes to cookie-cutter 90s cartoon plots, it doesn't get much more generic than the someone finds a magic lamp storyline. And that's what Janine's Genie is all about. The Ghostbusters secretary has 3 wishes and learns the obvious lesson these episodes always teach. Be careful what you wish for. While this episode is definitely one of those bucket list plot lines that every cartoon of the era seemed to do, and it absolutely leans on the more iconic elements of the Genie trope, I'm willing to forgive it. Not just because the writing is good as usual, but because it's more about Janine's latent desire to be a Ghostbuster than it is about genies and wishes. That may be a lame reason to give it a pass, but as I've said before, I really like the episodes where Janine puts on the suit. It's just sort of like that wish fulfillment, no pun intended, thing that as a kid, if the secretary girl could be the Ghostbusters, then the kids watching could be Ghostbusters. So I really like the idea of her succeeding and fulfilling that wish. So I always like seeing Janine put on the gear. The episode actually starts off with her complaining that she wants to be where the action is.
It's no fair. I'm always stuck at this boring desk while you guys get all the action. I want to go this time.
Well, sure, why not?
And so the Ghostbusters let her tag along to catch her first ghost. Apparently, though, catching a ghost does not automatically make one a Ghostbuster.
Nothing personal, Janine, but nobody becomes a Ghostbuster overnight.
Says the guy who literally walked into the firehouse and became a Ghostbuster overnight.
This is Winston Zedmore. He's here about the job.
Beautiful. You're hired. Ray Stantz, Pete Venkman.
Congratulations.
Can you help me, please?
You hypocrite. After Winston crushes Janine's dreams, we learn that the client can't pay for the paranormal extraction, so he offers the Ghostbusters an old lamp as payment. And suddenly the story becomes painfully predictable. Janine loves the stupid trinket, everyone teases her for having it, and while polishing out of spite, a genie pops out and offers her 3 wishes. Yawn. And here we see the lame departure from what was shaping up to be a really cool character-driven episode. Instead of seeing Janine struggle to learn the ropes of Ghostbusters fieldwork, we're instead seeing her stumble through awkward wishes, magically making her the leader of the team and forcing Egon to fall in love with her, both of which wind up frustrating her as the episode goes on. At least there's a twist to the formula, though. Instead of it being the standard be careful what you wish for plot, we find out the whole wishes thing is actually a ruse. The genie's really just a powerful ghost who's trying to open a portal to the earthly realm to let all his friends out, and the magic lamp act is just a distraction to keep the Ghostbusters busy while he lets his friends into the living world. It's not even clear if he's really a genie, and that's what makes this more interesting than a normal genie episode. The ghosts he lets into our realm are supposedly on some sort of spectral vacation, haunting up New York City's tourist locations like amusement parks and stuff. But we only see them at the airport where they're hijacking a plane? Yeah, it's pretty weird. There's some airplane jokes and the ghosts bail out and then the Ghostbusters wind up flying the plane through downtown New York. It's a little weird watching it today and definitely a gag that wouldn't get past censors in today's world. Eventually the team makes it out of the city and back to the airport area, and Janine makes an incredibly stupid decision.
The sooner we get down, the sooner we'll be safe.
That's logical, I think.
And they somehow survive a crash landing that disintegrates the airplane. Good work, Janine. Top-notch manager. Good job. Good job. Janine eventually figures out that all the ghosts are coming from her lamp, and she summons the genie for one last wish to get rid of it all. But he refuses.
Forget it, lady.
But you promised me 3 wishes.
I lied.
Luckily, the boys come up with a solution, jury-rigging a bunch of traps and saying if they attach it to the lamp, it'll suck all the ghosts back into their realm, creating a sort of gravy boat temporal technology melded trap thing. Somehow. Unfortunately, someone needs to enter the proverbial hornet's nest to set up the trap thing. So while the team is arguing over who should do it, Janine just kind of slips out and braves the horde of ghosts herself. It's kind of an awesome show of bravery, having her take the initiative and just say, look, this is my problem, I'm solving it. And you can really admire the character for doing it. The gamble works too, and it sucks all the ghosts back into their old realm and destroys the lamp. Easy peasy, done. Now, like I said, I sort of like this episode because you get to see Janine taking charge and growing a little bit as a character and becoming a Ghostbuster, but that doesn't mean it isn't loaded with terrible tropes about the whole Genie 3 Wishes 90s, 80s cartoon thing. It's still the exact same magic lamp formula episode, and although Genie is more bold than normal, she still needs to get saved by the boys during the final confrontation. And despite this brief departure from her being secretary, it doesn't do anything to change the status quo either. When the team offers her a position as a fully fledged Ghostbuster at the end, she opts to go back to her boring desk job. And that sucks. I always kind of wanted to see Janine be a more active member of the team. And she's never in this, but she is in IDW's Ghostbusters comic book series, in which she reluctantly has to take on the role as team leader for a while the Ghostbusters are trapped in another realm. Go read it, it's an amazing comic. As for the episode, it's only okay, but it is kind of important. And why? Because since I've already done the Christmas episode, this marks the last of the first season ABC Ghostbusters episodes. Confused? You should be. The Real Ghostbusters is kind of weird. It was split into two different series, sort of. They're both called The Real Ghostbusters, but one was on ABC and sort of had a little bit more of a serious plotline, and the other were the syndicated episodes, which showed every day, but were made by a different company and kind of had a different direction. From what I understand, the ABC episodes are typically a little more serious in tone, but there's a lot more syndication episodes. In fact, there's so many of them, I'm going to have to do some changes for this little review series. For one, it means there's no way I'm going to finish The Real Ghostbusters before the new film comes out. That's like in a week and a half. For another, it means I'm going to have to skip a few episodes or package some reviews together. I don't know how that's going to work yet. Maybe I'll review like a whole season at once, or maybe I'll just review like scattered episodes. I'm not sure yet, but if there's an episode you definitely think I need to review, let me know in the comments and I'll make sure it gets the screen time it deserves. I'll also be shaking things up a little bit more, trying to show more non-Ghostbusters videos because, let's be honest, this is a pretty specific niche, as well as uploading a bunch of videos from my trip to Japan recently, which is why it's been 2 months since you've seen a video from me. That's it for now, but I'm back, and new movie's almost out, and it's a pretty crazy time to be a Ghostbusters fan. Cheers.